Hi, and thank you for joining us today to learn more about climate. I'm Lucy Noble, and I'm dedicated the last 11 years of my career in reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Now, I would like to raise awareness about environmental issues and the urgent need to address climate change. I'll be talking to experts in this field and sharing key insights in bite-sized pieces with you. I invite you to join me in this journey to understand and combat climate change, where each episode brings actionable insights and solutions. And today we're talking to Charlotte Meerstadt. Charlotte Meerstadt is a civil engineer with a background in clean energy infrastructure and art. She launched her company, Fram Energy, when she graduated from Stanford Graduate School of Business in 2023. Fram Energy builds software that realigns incentives to bring the home energy transition to renters. Charlotte is working on this solution because it delivers climate impact, improves renters' lives, and unlocks the huge untapped rental residential market for solar deployment. Hi, Charlotte. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, thanks for having me, Lucy. I think this is going to be fun.
Yeah, me too. So first, tell me, why are you interested in climate and sustainability?
Yeah, it feels like it's been forever, really. I think my first exposure to climate change was a video that the teacher showed us when I was probably around 10 years old. And I just couldn't believe that all of the grown-ups knew this was happening and just no one was doing anything. And I think that came together with growing up with a lot of respect for nature, like did a lot of hikes with my family, things like that. So yeah, I feel like it's been a focus area of mine forever, and really also chose my degrees and my first career choices, etc., to be working on climate as well. Yeah.
Great, very interesting background. And why did you decide to start Frem Energy, and how did you start that?
Yeah, so it's very rooted in my own experience. So I own one apartment in the middle of Amsterdam, back in the Netherlands where I'm from. And the moment that I moved in there, because I used to live there, I put solar on the roof. And it worked out really great because electricity prices rose much faster than expected, and there were great incentives. So the panels were just crushing it in terms of economical value creation. And then the moment that I moved to the US to go to Stanford, that apartment became a rental apartment. And just from one day to the next, it was impossible for us to monetize those panels. So we tried all kinds of things. We tried um, putting the apartment into the market for a higher rent per month. That didn't work because the market didn't really recognize that value that you get from solar panels. We tried negotiating a fixed fee with our tenants. That also didn't work because they were very wary of any kind of like fee coming from their landlord. They weren't familiar with the solar business case. They'd never seen their energy bill. And long story short, our what used to be great investment in solar quickly became one of the dumbest things we'd ever done, purely because the apartment switched from being owner occupied to a rental apartment. And that whole situation just fascinated me so much because the economical value of the panels was so great, but there just wasn't a logical mechanism to capture that. So the timing going into business school was really great. So I got to spend 2 years like developing my thesis around this problem, testing things out, like doing a whole bunch of discovery, talking to property owners, policy people, other founders, and just got really excited about the fact that no one was selling any kind of energy efficiency or on-site generation into the rental market. And yeah, that really built that conviction to go and start Fram Energy.
Wow, what a great story. Yeah, I have a similar experience. I was renting before, and one of the things I really wished we had as at the rental house I was renting was solar. And because I was a renter, there was no negotiating chips on my side to request for the owner to put in that solar, and they had no incentive. So it really has to work out economically. So I'm glad you're able to solve some of this problem. Why is solar important for you? And why should people consider it for their homes and rental homes?
Yeah, so obviously there's a whole bunch of things that we need to solve the climate crisis. On-site energy generation like solar is one of those things. It's just very clear that we need to decarbonize our sources of electricity, and all of those empty rooftops that we have on all kinds of homes, commercial buildings, industrial buildings are just a really great place to be doing that, because you also have a bit less environmental impact than when you're filling fields with solar panels. There's a lot of pesticides, impact to animals, etc., that comes from that you're just really limiting by using essentially that wasted space on the rooftops that we have right now in urban areas. So I think that is why I believe in solar specifically. And then in combination with that, we also just really need to work on getting our total energy demand down, which is also super important in the home decarbonization context. So whilst Fram Energy is starting off with doing solar for rental properties, the goal is very much that we'll expand to doing all kinds of other building decarbonization measures, and then doing our incentive realignments, which essentially splits the savings between owners and tenants. So the way that we're solving those split incentives is really making sure that the savings that come from solar or other energy retrofits are split between the owner, who gets the lion's share because they put in the upfront capital, and the renter, who also gets to benefit from the energy transition by being a part of it. So yeah, we very much believe in solar, but also in reducing total energy demand. Yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of the investment that the owner has to make up the front, can you tell us a little bit more about the business model? How does it all work?
Yeah, so that incentive realignment, like the splitting of the savings, is really core to what we do. So our tenant billing software becomes the tenant's portal for paying their electricity bill. So in like a simple example, if the energy bill used to be $100 pre-solar, we would put solar on the roof, say for like 70% of demand. So that would reduce the energy bill down to $30 a month. And what we charge the rental tenant is, for example, $90 a month, which is great for them. Their energy bill just went down $10 a month without them having to put in any upfront capital, take on any risk. And that gives us this $60 of captured value that we're able to send most of it back to the property owner, and then retain a little bit as take rate revenue, which is our business model for, of course, also making some money from those solar savings. So yeah, that is how our business model works. And in terms of the upfront financing, as you mentioned, this is definitely something that's important to our customers as well. Property owners of either multifamily buildings or single family buildings generally don't really have the cash lying around. Sometimes they do, but we definitely want to offer our customers financing options as well. So the way that we do that is by currently partnering with organizations that offer financing for solar panels. Some of our partner contractors offer very attractive rates on financing. And yeah, it's definitely a big part of the puzzle to make solar work very well for both the rental market and the homeowner market. So something that we're continuously developing as well. Yeah.
So for me to recap, so the renter doesn't have to pay anything up front. They just see a discount on their
Yeah.
monthly bill. And then the owner puts the upfront
Yeah.
deposit or down payment. And then
Because
so does the owner, yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
they also get the value uptick when they sell the property. So it's logical that the owner owns
Right.
the panels as well, because they have the agency to sell the whole property or sell the panels or do whatever. And because the renters are, of course, constantly cycling through the building, it wouldn't make sense if they owned a portion of the panels,
Right.
put in the upfront money, because they don't have the agency over the panels either.
Right. So at the end, the owner ends up owning the panels for the lifetime of the panels, right? They're not,
Yeah.
it's not a rental panel either.
No. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. That's a great model, I think. I'm so glad you're able to put this together because that really makes sense, especially economically for the renters, and still be able to benefit from living a green and sustainable life even as a renter. And
Yeah. Yeah. Very much.
remind me where are you operating right now?
So we're headquartered in New York and mostly looking to grow our pipeline in the northeast of the US, but we also have potential pilots in California and Nevada as well. So not being completely exclusive in our pipeline, but definitely putting a lot of efforts into expanding around New York as well. And it's been really great. We've really seen really good results for property owners as well up to now. the return on investment on an annualized basis has generally been between 15 to 25%. So it's really one of the more high value places to put your money right now if you own property. So that's just been really exciting to see it work out in real life as well.
Wow, amazing. First of all, congratulations for starting this business and working on it throughout grad school at Stanford. For young people who are looking to start a company or work in climate, do you have any advice or recommendations for them?
Yeah, I'd really say two things. So I think, first of all, it's really important to start cultivating a mindset that what you do really matters. That's something that I have felt really strongly my whole life. And I think on the bigger scale, it can prompt you to do something as irrational as just spending years of your career on this highly risky thing because you just really deeply believe that it might matter, that it does matter, and that it might lead to really big impact. And then on a smaller scale, it also means just being really nice to the person driving your bus or scanning your groceries, or kind of going the extra mile to either send something to someone having a bad day or whatever. Because if you really believe that everything you do matters and has the potential to have impact, you'll move through the world in a way that also increases your odds of actually doing something with that precious life and having that impact. And then the second point I would say is, whether it's starting a business or going after your dream job in climate, or maybe embarking on your climate journey when you're new to it, I think what really helps is to break everything up into very small steps. I think it's very tempting to feel like things are only worth it if they progress super fast and you have to achieve these huge milestones every single day. And what I really say to myself every day when I wake up, and there's so many different things I could do for the business, or it's like one of those vague times where things are moving but you don't see them moving, I just tell myself, by this afternoon or by this evening, the company will be further than it is right now. And it's just the most comforting thought that you can take small steps. So I think that there's all kinds of equivalents to that in different careers or different endeavors, but just starting to slowly chip away and making a little bit of progress every day is how I would tackle that.
That is such great advice. And I feel the same way. And that's part of the reason why I started this podcast, because every little bit of information, additional discussion, additional spreading of, why we need to continue to do this, how do we affect climate change is, the what I'm asking for is just that incremental improvement. And so before we go, is there any call to actions for our listeners?
Yeah, I think for anyone building in climate, I would say just work on climate solutions that truly work for everyone. I think the first wave of climate tech, we've seen fantastic innovations, but they've led to a bunch of products that are mostly benefiting the upper layers of society. Like looking at the first EVs, solar panels, there's just this big adoption gap. And I think the most high growth, exciting next wave of climate products is really going to be products that work for everyone, and that maybe work even better for the middle to low income groups, which are huge all around the world. And I think we should really be keeping that in mind as well, which is for me why I really love showing up to work every day and getting to build for that group of rental tenants as well, because it just excites me so much that if this company does become big, there will just be so many renters that get access to the benefits of solar energy that don't have it right now. And then the other thing, just if you own any kind of rental property and you'd be curious to see the returns and the climate impact, we would just love to get in touch and harness the power of the sun to turn that into new income for your property. So I think those are my calls to action. Yeah.
Great, thank you. And thank you for joining us today. I learned so much about solar through this conversation and past conversations with you. So I really appreciate you sharing your expertise and about your business. And I hope that your business really takes off and is able to offer this service to not just within the States, but worldwide, if that's not already available. And to our audience, if there's a particular topic related to climate change that you're passionate about or curious to learn more about, please leave a comment below. Your input helps shape our future episodes and ensure we're covering the issues that matter most to you. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button and join us next week for more insightful discussions. Together, let's explore solutions and take action for a healthier planet. Thank you.